The little girl just pointed casually, and the nanny in front of her suddenly started laying eggs non-stop. At this moment, the nanny didn't know that the little girl before her was actually an angel from heaven. Not only could she do magic, but she was also in charge of fertility and childbirth. But because she was too mischievous, the world fell into chaos. To punish her, the little girl's master sent her down to the human world. Only after helping 9 people could she return to heaven, and the nanny's household became the first family the little girl would help. It all started this morning. The little girl had just descended to the human world when she heard a believer calling out to her. So she went to a chapel. Inside stood a woman dressed in white. She stood devoutly beneath the chapel's altar. She had been married for 3 years but still had no child, so she prayed for the spirits to help her get pregnant soon. The little girl heard her wish and quickly began to cast magic. The woman's heavy body suddenly felt much lighter, but the little girl standing nearby was very puzzled. She had just seen the woman's fate. The woman was supposed to have many children, but why couldn't she conceive? Her magic couldn't fully work. Just then, the woman asked where the little girl's parents were, but the little girl said she had no father or mother. The woman immediately felt the little girl was pitiful, since she herself had no children. She wanted to adopt the little girl. The little girl's eyes lit up instantly. From today on, she too would have a mother. The woman brought the little girl back home. As soon as she entered, the little girl sensed something was very wrong with the house. It was filled with dark energy. That might be the reason why the woman had no children. But the little girl wasn't worried. She promised the woman that she would definitely help her conceive. Then she cast her magic and unexpectedly saw 2 magical energy orbs appear in the air. The little girl instantly recognized that these 2 orbs were the woman's children, but for some reason, they couldn't enter the woman's body. At that moment, the magical energy orbs suddenly started talking. The little girl calmly chatted with them, which left the woman very confused. She couldn't see the energy orbs. To her, only the 2 of them were in the room. Who was the little girl talking to? Just then, 2 people suddenly came down the stairs. The nanny, dressed in black, carefully helped the mother-in-law downstairs. As soon as the mother-in-law saw the woman, she began cursing at her, saying that after so many years, she still hadn't given their family a child, and now she even brought back a burden from outside. Even the nanny joined in insulting her, calling her a useless piece of trash. The little girl couldn't stand seeing the woman humiliated, so she immediately stood in front of her. She said she would soon help the woman get pregnant. But as for this nanny, her whole body was covered in dark energy, with a dead 3-month-old baby clinging at her feet. Even touching her would bring misfortune. The nanny panicked instantly. How did this little girl know that she had aborted a child 3 months ago? But the mother-in-law didn't believe the girl at all and continued cursing the woman. The nanny also regained her confidence and trampled on the woman's dignity too. Hearing this, the little girl was furious. She cast her magic, and the nanny, like a hen, dropped an egg from her body. The next second, the mother-in-law also began dropping eggs non-stop. The 2 of them were in utter embarrassment. The little girl laughed proudly. At last, she could vent the woman's anger. The woman was shocked and speechless. Could the little girl really be an angel? Just then, the woman's husband and father-in-law returned home. The mother-in-law immediately dragged her son to complain, saying the woman had brought some random child home, but the little girl stepped forward, saying she wasn't just any child. She was the angel of fertility. But the husband was very dismissive, so he made a deal with the little girl. If within a month the woman didn't get pregnant, she would have to leave their house. After saying that, he left angrily. The woman was utterly desperate. She didn't believe she could ever conceive, and now her husband even wanted to drive away the child she adopted. At that moment, she didn't know that the little girl had already planned everything. That afternoon, the little girl found the 2 magical energy orbs and asked them why they refused to enter the woman's body. The energy orbs said they were in great pain because only the woman welcomed them in this home. The mother-in-law had secretly poisoned the woman so they couldn't become her children. Meanwhile, the woman stood in the living room, hesitating as she looked at the bowl of medicine the nanny handed her. This was something her mother-in-law had bought, a so-called special remedy from a famous doctor. She had been drinking it for 3 years, yet it never worked, and every time she drank it, she felt very unwell. This time she didn't want to drink it, but her mother-in-law and husband kept forcing her to drink it. In the end, she gave in. She lifted the bowl to drink, but just then, the little girl suddenly appeared and threw the bowl to the ground. She loudly told the woman that the medicine was poisoned and she must never drink it. The woman looked at the girl in confusion. The nanny was furious and retorted that the medicine was perfectly fine, saying the little girl was lying. The little girl calmly looked at the nanny and said, "There was another bowl right there on the table. If it was fine, the nanny should drink it herself." The nanny immediately shook her head and refused. Then the girl looked at the mother-in-law and asked if she dared to drink it. The mother-in-law lowered her head guiltily. The little girl picked up the bowl and poured it straight into the flower pot, mocking them for being shameless and vile. Right. Then the husband saw the situation turning bad and wanted to throw the little girl out immediately. The woman hurried to protect her, but the little girl stayed calm. She pointed at the flowers in the pot, and within just a minute, the flowers had completely withered. The woman finally woke up from years of lies. She looked at her unfamiliar husband and mother-in-law and swore she would take back everything that belonged to her.